Hello dear students, let's discuss regarding the next feature of the living organisms, that is nothing but the metabolism. So the metabolism is another characteristic of life or the living organisms. So in bridge course also we have discussed regarding what is metabolism, right? Let us understand it in more depth. See, all living organisms they are made up of chemicals. So these chemicals are named as like proteins, amino acids, carbohydrates, lipids, and various the other chemicals which are present in our body, right? With their a different combination and proportions, the various type of tissues, like basically 4 type of tissues, give rise to the formation of various organs in our body, so that an organism is made or organized. So living organisms are made up of chemicals, right? Our body is not built by using some a stones, a cement or bricks. A living organism body is built by using chemicals. So means it is produced or born by use of chemicals in order to build the tissues or the organs in our body. So here these chemicals they may be small or big, and they belong to various classes like lipids, proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, like that. And they vary in their sizes, means they also belong to the various sizes based on their molecular weight, and they do belong to various types based on their functions, means all these chemicals will not perform the same function, and they vary or they differ in their functions also. And so many other differences will be present among these chemicals. Such chemicals are constantly being made and broken down or changed into some other types of biomolecules. Let us elaborate this sentence now. What is the meaning of these chemicals are constantly being made and changed into some other biomolecules? Say for example, you know that one, amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So what is the meaning of that one? Amino acids are combined together by means of peptide linkage or the peptide bonds in order to produce protein or in order to form proteins. So amino acid gives rise to proteins. Nothing but here amino acids are some type of chemicals or one type of chemical. It gives rise to the formation of another chemical or the biomolecule called as protein. Sorry. How this one is made? Here protein is made by the combination of amino acids. That is what the meaning of this sentence. Some chemicals are constantly being made by the use of some other chemicals and are changed into some other biomolecules. Let us take that example also. Similarly, say for example, starch is an carbohydrate. The food what we consume, right? So when starch is present, that one, it get acted by or it is catalyzed by or broken down by salivary amylase, enzyme called as salivary amylase, which is present in our saliva in mouth. So that salivary amylase at the pH of 6.8, what happens? This starch is broken down into a disaccharide. So say for the example of the disaccharide, nothing but here maltose. Maltose. So starch has got converted into maltose by the action of enzyme called as salivary amylase. So what is happening in this reaction? Some chemical is changed into some other biomolecule by the action of enzyme at a particular or the specific pH. That is what the another part of this sentence here. That is, chemicals are changed into some other biomolecules, or they are constantly being made into some biomolecules. So here amino acids give rise to the formation of a complex biomolecule called as a protein. In the other hand, starch is broken down into disaccharide by the action of an enzyme. These two reactions are opposite to each other. What is the meaning of that one? Means here amino acid builds proteins, means these are the anabolic reaction. So this type of reaction is anabolic reaction. So remember the bridge course class where we discussed regarding anabolic or the constructive reactions. But here in this reaction, starch is broken down into disaccharide. So this is nothing but catabolic reaction. Catabolic reaction. So what do you mean by catabolic reaction here? Nothing but destructive reactions. Anabolic reactions means constructive reactions. These two type of reactions which occur in the living organisms, right? They belong to, means such thousands of reactions occurs in the living organism's body. Okay, altogether they are called as metabolic reactions, and that process is called as metabolism. So such thousands of chemical reactions, such thousands of chemical reactions occurs in living organisms body. So here the living organism may be, so here living organism nothing but it may be the plant, maybe the plants, or animals or fungi, okay, fungi, and even microorganisms, like nothing but unicellular organism. Whatever the type of living organism is, whether it is unicellular or the multicellular, which belongs to plants, animals or the fungi, in all these organisms what happens, such thousands of chemical reactions takes place. So the sum or the total of all these chemical reactions occurring in our body is only called as metabolism. So a sum or the total of all chemical reactions occurring in our body is metabolism. That is only called as metabolism. Okay, this is what the definition of the metabolism or the meaning of the metabolism. Any doubt in this one? Okay, this is what the metabolism is. Then, so can these reactions can be carried out outside the body of a organism in a cell-free system? Is it possible to carry out such reactions outside the body of organism? Okay, let's discuss about that one. Before that, make a notes of these points now. So, what happens here? The non-living object is capable of carrying out metabolic reactions. Means in no non-living object or the thing, metabolic reactions occurs. The chalk what I am holding is a non-living thing. Is any metabolic reactions takes place in this chalk? No. Is there any enzymes present in this chalk? No enzymes are present. Any biomolecule is present which is giving to the formation of life or the livingness? No. So, in no non-living object, metabolic reactions exhibit. So, but metabolic reactions can be demonstrated outside the living organism body in a cell-free system. What is the meaning of that one? In a cell-free system means the system in which the metabolic reaction can be demonstrated is not having any cells. What is the meaning of that one? Say for example, this is what an test tube is. In this test tube, if any living reaction or the metabolic reaction is carried out means this test tube is a system which is not made up of any cells. So it's a cell-free system. So metabolic reaction carried out in such a system is an isolated metabolic reaction. Why? Because now this metabolic reaction is not a part of the living organism body and it is carried out outside the body in a test tube. So it is an isolated metabolic reaction. Such isolated metabolic reaction or reactions can be carried out in a test tube. Such reactions is neither living nor non-living. Reactions ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ನಾನ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. Why? Shall we get the example of such a reaction? See, let's take the similar example here. Add some amount of starch into the test tube. Okay, into the same test tube now add some amount of salivary amylase enzyme which is extracted from the saliva. Directly you can add the saliva which contains the salivary amylase. Say for example you have added some amount of starch and for that you added some amount of saliva. Then what happens here? In that test tube here the starch is broken down into a disaccharide. Here nothing but the maltose in the presence of salivary amylase. The same reaction takes place in our mouth when the food is being consumed or taken into the mouth. So the reaction which takes place in the living organism body is also demonstrated or occur outside the body in a glass vessel or the test tube which is a cell-free system. So here the same reaction has occurred, right? Which used to occur in our mouth. So isolated metabolic reactions in vitro, here in vitro means outside the body or in glass vessel. So here in vitro means outside the body. What is the meaning of this in vitro? Here in vitro means outside the body. So isolated metabolic reactions which occurs outside the body or in vitro are not living things but surely the living reactions. What is the meaning of that one? As this reaction is an isolated metabolic reaction, now it is not a part of living organism. So this is not a living thing where the reaction is occurring, but the reaction which occurs in that cell-free system is surely a living reaction. There is a live conversion of starch into the disaccharide occurs with the enzymatic action by or catalytic reaction by salivary amylase. So, metabolic reactions carried out in vitro are not living, but are not the living things, but surely the living reactions. That reaction is living, but not that test tube. By this, what we can get to know means, hence, metabolism is the defining feature of all living organisms without any exception. This is what the most important word to be understood. Metabolism is the defining feature of all living organisms without any exception. And cellular organization of the body is also the defining feature of the living organisms. Our body is organized so that we are having proper shape and size. This is because of organization of the cells by underlying biochemical reactions. So, metabolism and cellular organization are the defining feature of living organisms. Remember, based on these sentence or based on these clarifications only, the NEET or the CET questions will be asked. Which is the defining feature of the living organism without any exception means no other options, it is only the metabolism. This is only metabolism. Is it clear? So this is regarding the metabolism as a defining feature of the living organisms and cellular organization also. Hope you have understood this concept. Make a note of this one now. Later we will discuss another characteristic feature also. The next defining feature of living organisms is responsiveness or the irritability. So what is the meaning of responsiveness or the irritability? Means it is the ability of an organism to sense the changes in its surrounding and mount or show a suitable response for that stimuli is only called as responsiveness or the irritability. So, this irritability or the responsiveness is the most complicated and obvious feature of all living organisms. So, the most obvious and technically complicated feature of living organism is nothing but the ability to sense their surroundings. See, all organisms are capable of sense their surroundings. What is present around me? What is the intensity of the light present around me? Can I see the objects clearly or not? Whether that object is visible to me or not? Which other organisms are present near my surrounding? Is there any dirt present in the wind? Should I close my eyes or not? Is there enemy present is near me or surrounding me? Is that organism causes any harm to me or not? Can I touch the object or not, whether it is hot or cold? So these changes we will get to know through our sense organs. That ability is the ability to sense the changes in the surroundings. That is one obvious and technically complicated feature of living organisms. Similarly, and also, most is feature of the obvious feature of the living organism is mount a suitable response to these stimuli. What is the stimuli meaning? Here the stimuli means nothing but changes. Stimuli means changes. So let the stimuli could be the physical stimuli, or it may be the chemical stimuli, or it could be the biological stimuli. Whatever the type of stimuli is, such stimuli will be sensed by the living organisms and suitable response will be mounted by that living organism. This property is only called as responsiveness or the irritability. Understood? So, we sense our surroundings with the help of sense organs present in our body. We know that we have 5 sense organs in our body. What are those? Eyes, nose, tongue, skin. Okay. So, what is the other one then? Yes? What is the other organ? Ears also, right? Okay. So, these sense organs help us to sense the changes in our surrounding. And like that, plants also respond to the external factors. Those external factors are nothing but here light. Change in the intensity or the duration of the light affects the photoperiodism in the plants, and it affects their photosynthesis process and also the other functions. And temperature, availability of the water, means how much water is available in their surrounding, and the pollutants which are present in the surrounding environment, and other organisms which may cause harm to that plant. All these are considered as external factors. For such external factors, a plant respond and show mount or show suitable response for the changes in these factors in the surrounding environment. So, all organisms from the prokaryotes to the eukaryotes, they do respond to environmental cues. Nothing but changes in the environment are the objections or the challenges posed by environment to that living organism. What happens if if a flood occurs, or suddenly rain occurs? Means what you will do? So you will go to the safe places, right or not? Like that, various cues are the challenges given by the nature or the environment. For such changes, organisms do respond. That is only the property of living organism called as irritability or the responsiveness. See, let us take the example of here the physical stimuli. So, a well-known example for the physical stimuli is nothing but a plant called as Mimosa pudica or touch me not plant. Touch me not plant. So when you touch the part of the touch me not plant or the leaves of the touch me not plant, the leaves get closed. Leaves get closed. When any object or the organism come in physical contact with that touch me not plant or the Mimosa pudica plant, its leaves get closed. It is a protective measure or the response mounted by that particular plant called as a touch me not plant. So this is what the image of the touch me not plant or the Mimosa pudica. Okay, this is what the normal picture of Mimosa pudica plant, and when someone touches its leaves or the object means, so this is what the second image showing the closure of the leaves. So this is what the physical stimuli for that organism has replied or responded in its own way, right? Similarly, for example, chemical response or the chemical changes means, instead of water, if I give you a petrol to drink, will you drink that petrol? No, right? Because you will get to know the smell of that liquid. Then only you will decide it is not a water, it is a petrol. I should not drink this one. Means you are able to sense the chemical nature of that liquid just by the smell of that, sensing the smell of that chemical, so that you are aware of the chemicals entering your body. For that you will respond by rejecting not to drink that petrol. Biological response, for example, if any allergen enters into your body means, if any pollen grains enters into your nose, respiratory system means, or if any dirt enters into your respiratory system means, you will get cough or sneeze, or you may develop some allergic reactions. That is what the response you are giving against allergens or the biological agents. Or if any unusual bacteria or the virus enters into your body, means your body temperature may rise, it causes fever in order to kill or neutralize that a virus or the bacteria. So these are the biological responses or the response against the biological stimuli. So make a note of these points now. Let's discuss some more things about the responsiveness. First, make a note of these points now. See, how the changes in the environment affect the living organisms means change in the photo period. If any changes occurs in the photo period means the duration of availability of the sunlight that affects reproduction in seasonal breeders. They may be the plants or the animals. The seasonal breeders, okay, they do reproduce only during a particular season. So change in the photo period, okay, that affects their reproduction process. It may be the plant or the animal. Next, so all organisms handle the chemicals which are entering into our body, into their bodies. For example, we consume only those plants or the plant products or the animal products which can enter into our body without causing any harm into our livingness. What is the meaning of that one? For example, you can taste or eat, fruits or the vegetables which are edible. If anything is poisonous or bitter in taste, you are not going to consume that. If it is poisonous and causes death of that human individual, means is that fruit or is that substance can be taken by the human individual? No, right? ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಪೂರಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಆಹಾರ ಇದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಫ್ರೂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನೇನೇ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಿನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ವೈ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ನೋ ದಟ್ ಒನ್ ದಟ್ ಕಾಸಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ ಟು ಅವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ aware of chemicals entering into their bodies. That is called as nothing but consciousness. So that is called as consciousness. But human being is the only organism who is aware of himself. He know what is happening inside his body, how the digestion process occurs, how the exchange of the carbon dioxide and then the oxygen takes place during respiration, how the blood circulates in our body, what is the function of the human heart, how the sinoatrial node generates impulse or the electric impulses to carry out the rhythmic beat of the heart. Everything the human know about himself. So that consciousness is called as self-consciousness. So human is the only organism who is aware of himself. That feature is called as self-consciousness. So by this what we came to know that means consciousness becomes the defining property of all living organisms. Why? Because for example, if you take the non-living objects, they never react for changes in the environment. For example, whether the light is there or not, it doesn't affect it. So whether the water enters into it or whether the pollen grains fall on it, so no changes occur in its existence. So means non-living thing are not going to sense the changes in the surrounding or give any response for such changes. So consciousness becomes the defining property of all living organisms. This is enough for today's class, and the another aspect regarding the consciousness that we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you.